If you've been following a lot of the traditional advice online about how to build an Instagram strategy for growth, then I hate to break it to you, but you might have crafted a strategy for yourself that just doesn't work. A lot of people start an Instagram account and think that the very first most important step is to pick a niche. And don't get me wrong, you do need to have a purpose and a mission and a reason behind your account, what some might call a niche, in order to actually attract an audience to your content. But I think what way too many people think of when they think of picking a niche is not actually a foundational step for Instagram growth. A lot of beginner creators think about picking a niche like choosing a genre or a topic or a category from a long list of the potential niches on Instagram, and that's really not helpful when it comes to growth. A lot of beginner creators may select like, I'm a fitness account, or I'm a travel account, or I'm a beauty account, and then they feel like they've chosen their niche, and then that's their Instagram strategy. And if that's what you've done, then chances are you might not have seen the kind of growth that you're hoping for. Because ultimately, picking a category from a long list of potential topics is not an effective Instagram growth strategy. So let's talk about what is. Also, on a very brief note, welcome back to the van. It is supposed to be the hottest day of the summer today, so that's why my hair looks like this. I was like, I'm not putting it down for this video, and the doors will remain open, so I hope you enjoy the sounds of nature in the background. Okay, so when it comes to establishing an Instagram strategy from scratch, if just like picking a topic, picking a niche, picking a category is not the right place to start, where do we want to start? Here's what I suggest and what I've suggested to my clients, what I've done for my own accounts. Start with your audience first. Okay, so let's backtrack a second. Let's start with your goal for this Instagram. Hopefully when you started your account or you decided that you want to grow, you have some reason behind it. There's kind of two main purposes that a lot of people have. One is that they have an existing business and they're starting their Instagram in order to market that business, whether it's a brick and mortar business, something online, services, products, whatever. That's sort of the first main goal that we see. The second is if you are wanting to become a content creator or an influencer. So your primary goal is to grow an audience in order to work with potential brands, use affiliate links, etc., to monetize that audience and the content that you're making. So most likely you already have one of those two goals in mind. So then at that stage, it's really important to think about what audience you're trying to reach, because that is going to be the complete foundation for your strategy. So if you're on that first path of being a business that is looking to market your products, services, whatever, with your Instagram, then you want to ask yourself, who is your ideal customer? Who do you think is going to buy your products, services, etc.? Figure out exactly who that person is, how old they are, where they live, what they're watching on Netflix. That is the person that you're going to try to target. So really get a good sense of who they are. Okay, in the second track that I talked about of wanting to become a content creator or an influencer, you need to ask yourself who your ideal audience is going to be. And this is going to be a little bit different because you aren't necessarily looking for your ideal customer, but instead you want to think about who is going to relate to my life and my story most. And second of all, think about who the brands are that you would want to work with. Like maybe make a list of some of your like dream brand deals that are, products that you love, that you would love to promote. Think about who is the ideal customer of those brands. Because if you can cultivate for yourself an audience of the exact kind of people that those brands want to reach, that is the perfect formula for getting really great brand deals. So whatever track you happen to be in, either as a business looking for your ideal customer or as a creator/influencer looking for your ideal community, really think hard about who your audience is and what kind of content is going to be most relatable to them. Once you've got that established, that is going to be the backbone of your strategy, and from there we're going to build some content pillars. In my experience, content pillars are another area that a lot of beginner creators kind of misunderstand. A lot of people think that you choose your niche, that kind of vague category or genre that I was talking about before, and then your content pillars are just sort of more specific subsets of that niche, but I really think that's the wrong way to go about it. So to explain what I mean about this misunderstanding, Let me give you an example. I think a lot of people would think that, okay, I'm starting my Instagram account and my niche is going to be vegan cooking. You know, that's the category that I select from my long list of potential niches I've heard of. Vegan cooking is gonna be mine. And then you would start thinking, okay, my content pillars, they need to be like, you know, more specific versions of that. So maybe they would be vegan recipes, best vegan ingredients, vegan cooking hacks and tricks, and vegan nutrition tips. So you can see how those are all just like more specific ways of talking about vegan cooking. And that's like fine, but I think the problem with this framework is that it's a little bit generic and it's a little bit boring. And it's gonna feel tiring to make this content over and over again because really all of it is really quite similar, and it's gonna be exhausting as a content creator to churn out that stuff over and over again when there isn't a lot of variety in what you're doing. And it also might become a little bit boring for your followers. Instead, my suggestion in order to combat all of this is to, again, start with your audience first. Think about your audience and their interests and their sort of personalities as the backbone of your strategy. And then think about what their various different interests might be as they relate to what you want to talk about and what your ultimate goals are, either as a business owner or as a content creator. So for this example, let's kind of rewind again and say we're talking about someone who wants to make vegan cooking a primary part of their account. Let's talk about who their audience might be. Okay, so maybe for this person, their ideal audience is going to be young women interested in sustainability and climate activism and minimalism. Maybe they're vegan for the sake of the environment and they want to take further action to emit less carbon. Okay, so with that audience profile in mind, maybe our content pillars would look more like this: vegan recipes, 0/low waste swaps, climate activism news and updates, and encouragement and inspiration to live a more sustainable life. In this approach, your content is going to be a little bit more diverse, have a little bit more variety, but at the same time have one really consistent tie that brings it all together, that being your audience and their interests. And in the example I gave anyway, you can see that these all really intersect in clear ways. There's a lot of overlapping going on. They have similar themes and kind of similar values at the end of the day, but they are different topics, which keeps it more interesting. So this variety of content that all has one common theme is a really beneficial strategy for a number of reasons. For one, it allows you to connect with different audience members more on some topics than others. So for example, maybe somebody comes into your audience because they're really into your low/zero waste swaps content, but then they start to see your really beautiful looking vegan recipes and they're like, maybe I'll try that out. So they become more loyal fans over time, but they have an entry point. So by having this variety of content, you've got various entry points for people depending on what they're most interested in. So it kind of casts your net a little bit wider without being too generic where you're not attracting anybody. Another reason why this is a great approach is that it allows you to differentiate yourself more from other people in your niche. So with the example that I've been using, let's say this vegan cooking account takes more of an environmental approach. That helps them stand out from other vegan accounts that are maybe more focused on the animal rights lens or maybe more focused on the health and nutrition lens. So by having that variety of content, you kind of allow yourself to narrow in on your specific angle and brand. It differentiates yourself from other people in your general niche. And finally, probably most importantly, the reason why this strategy works so well is because it's more fun for creators. And when you have more fun and you enjoy the variety of content that you're making, you're much less likely to get discouraged or to get burnt out. And this is really one of the biggest mistakes that a lot of creators make is they set out and they plan this wonderful strategy for themselves about what they're going to post on Instagram and how frequently, and it ends up being completely unsustainable for them. We all start out on our Instagram journeys super bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and optimistic about what we can create. We watch videos online, we read blogs about Instagram strategy, and we're like, yes, I'm going to post 2 reels a day for the next 6 months, and then I'm going to have 1 million followers. And that sounds great, and that's all fine and good if you can actually do it, but for the vast majority of us, myself included, posting 2 reels a day is a very unrealistic Instagram strategy. And if you set out to try to do something like that, chances are within a couple weeks, you are going to run out of steam. You're going to realize that you don't actually have the time to do that. And so you're going to stop posting, you're going to stop seeing results, and you're going to become really, really discouraged. And this is all going to lead to the inconsistency, which is pretty oppositional to growth. Therefore, it is a lot more beneficial to have a realistic Instagram strategy that is actually proportional to the time you can commit, what you like to create, and of course, what's going to help you grow. So because of all these struggles that I've seen beginner creators on Instagram having around coming up with a strategy that really, really works for them, I created the Sustainable Instagram Strategy Planner. I've been teasing this on my Instagram story for a little while now, and I'm so excited to officially release it. And the best part is it's totally free. The Sustainable Instagram Strategy Planner is an interactive Notion template / worksheet that is going to guide you through the process of developing a sustainable Instagram strategy that is going to work for you. Not only is this going to make content creation on Instagram more fun for you, but it's also going to ensure that it's something that you can sustain over the long period of time that's going to be required for you to see real growth. In the Sustainable Instagram Strategy Planner, we're going to go over figuring out what kind of content works best for you and your audience, determining how many posts you want to do in a given week or month and of what type. And of course, we're going to talk about the top different formats of posts on Instagram that are helpful for growth in 2022. So if you want to develop a sustainable Instagram strategy that is going to work for you, I definitely recommend checking out this free planner that I made for you. The Sustainable Instagram Strategy Planner is going to be linked in the description below. It is 100% free. You just have to put in your email address and I'll send you the link so that you can add it to your Notion and start working through it today. So remember that when it comes to creating an effective Instagram strategy, the most important things is that your strategy is, first of all, based on your audience and focused on crafting content that's going to be relatable and interesting and valuable to them. And then second of all, that this strategy is sustainable for you and it's something that you're going to enjoy and that you're going to be able to implement consistently for a long time. If you've been working at creating content for a while on Instagram and you're interested in monetizing your content and audience on the platform, then check out this video that I made all about how to start getting legit brand deals on Instagram. So make sure you check that out and make sure you check out the Sustainable Instagram Strategy Planner at the link in the description. And as always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having adventures and following your dreams, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.